everybody. Thank you all for coming. For those who don't know me, my name is Charles Kingston, and I'm the publisher and the editor of REFIRE, and we're the organisers of today's conference. Just a quick note, the last time I was moderating a panel or standing up here in London was in about 2007. It was just before the peak of the crisis, and we were with a number of German investors in real estate who were coming over to talk about the German market. And the British audience found that they were altogether far too restrained. They thought that the Germans weren't quite getting it, and members of the audience stood up and said, "Why aren't you selling your market more? Why aren't you being more enthusiastic? Everyone wants to get into Germany." And they said, "Well, we are investing 1.5% more next year," and so on. Anyway, within a couple of months of that, the entire world had changed. And since then, the German market has, while not escaping unscathed, certainly gone through a very different process of development, certainly a process of professionalization, a process of transparency, such that now, undoubtedly, Germany is the market, along with the UK and possibly parts of France, which essentially is Greater Paris, where international capital is investing in European real estate. Since 2005, REFIRE has been focused exclusively on the German market. We have never expanded to look after 27 different markets, simply because we can't know that much about 27 different markets. But we know a lot about the German market. We have access to people who know a lot about the German market, and that's what we've specialized in, and that's what we've continued to report on since our inception 8 years ago. Our readership since then, of course, has been rising steadily, because even in this internet age, people realize that focus is important, and we've found that focusing on a market, albeit a market as big as Germany, has enabled us to remain relevant and stay out of the, I suppose you could say, being swatted away by far larger competition. In other words, the focus has helped us to retain our loyal readership. At this point, I'd also like to just thank our sponsors for making this event possible. We wouldn't have been able to do it, of course, without our sponsors. And we hope you all get a chance to meet each other, those who don't know each other today in the course of the day. It is about meeting people today. We're obviously going to be hearing some very interesting content and some very interesting views on the markets, but it is about enabling people to access each other, talk with each other, and we have a number of initiatives lined up to make that happen and to make that run smoothly. Thank you also to the, I would say, very high caliber of speakers that we have today across a number of the different blocks of content that we'll be dealing with. Really very, very, very high, and I think most people recognize that these are leaders in their field, in their specific area, and we hope to hear some very interesting things from them today. A quick word relating to where we are right now. I understand two things. There may be at 10 o'clock a quick fire alarm or a quick beep, some sort of signal, which we are told we don't have to worry about. If there is any genuine fire alarm, we have been told that Glazers Hall have asked us to stay put, and they will tell us what the next steps are. So please, under no circumstances, panic. And as I say, at 10 o'clock there may be a beep. It could well be no louder than the beeping of your own unswitched off mobile telephones. So if you wouldn't mind, please making sure that your phones are switched off in the course of the day, put on silent. That would be much appreciated. We have Wi-Fi available throughout the whole building. We have, of course, the top floor. This is the courtroom, the library next door, and the river room at the far end. There's Wi-Fi available right across the building. For those of you who don't know, the password, if you're asked for one, is EVENT, spelled small, E-V-E-N-T, and then you've got full Wi-Fi access on your iPads or your iPhones. We have journalists covering the event today. We will be live Twittering also throughout the event. And for those of you who are interested and who are members of the Twitterati, our hashtag for the event is #REFIRE2013. So we will be both broadcasting outside live via Twitter, and also you can send your own comments to us or on any of the speakers through Twitter. There is a live feed of this event also from this room through to the River Room at the back where you've just had your coffee. On the back wall, there'll be a live broadcast of everything that's happening in this room, so that if you prefer at a later stage to stay with your cup of coffee and watch something that's going on the wall inside, please feel free to do so. That's where coffee will be served, lunch will be served, and later on, for those of you who can make it, drinks and canapes at the end of the evening once the business part of today's event has been covered. Housekeeping. A couple of very quick points. We do have a very packed and tight program today, and we're covering a lot of ground. So it is important to keep on track time-wise. I myself will be sitting up in the front, and I will be giving the speakers or the moderator of any of the particular blocks a 5-minute warning before the end, so that they have time to ask for further questions or to wrap up the discussion. But we do need to keep to a very tight schedule if we're going to get through all the ground that we have planned to cover for today. Please also feel free to ask questions during the panel discussions. Sometimes the moderator will open it up to discussions at any stage, but if you feel that something has just been said that you'd like to ask a question on right now, please feel free to do so. And most of the moderators are flexible enough to be able to take questions which may be very relevant to ask one of the other panel members while the discussion is hot. So please feel free to do that, and don't necessarily wait always until the end when the moderator asks, are there any questions? He will ask that, but if you would like to introduce yourself or ask a question beforehand, that's fine. The first coffee break is at 10:40. Actually, it's probably more likely to be 10:50 now, because we are just a little bit late in starting, but we will try to keep to that schedule. So 10:50. Alison Bell, who has been magnificently handling our ground operations here in London, will be organising, for those of you who are interested, in both the courtroom and in the River Room, the library and the River Room, what we call speed networking, which is a lot of fun for those of you who haven't done it before. It gives you the opportunity to meet a lot of people in a very short period of time, briefly tell what your business is, swap business cards, find out what their business is, so that later on you will have made a ton of acquaintances of people fairly early on in the day, and you can zone in later for any further discussions that you might like to have. It's also a lot of fun. So I suggest for those of you who are interested, just say yes, and Alison will tell you exactly what to do, and Richard in the other room as well. We have later on this afternoon, at the end of the afternoon, we have a session which is called 5 of the Best. This is the only opportunity really in the day when people are truly untrammeled allowed to pitch a business idea. There are 5 innovative business concepts, of which we have 4, and we have left one deliberately open. The idea is that the speaker can pitch an innovative investment idea for investing in Germany for 7 minutes, not a second longer. He will be ruthlessly dragged from the stage if he goes over the 7-minute point. If somebody would like to think of an idea, or if already has an idea, and they would like to be the 5th speaker in our 5 of the Best session at the end of the day, before we adjourn for drinks, please get in touch with me in the course of the day, and you will have the opportunity to present an interesting business idea. 7 minutes, not a second longer. Good. That's it from my side. I hope you all have a stimulating and a thought-provoking day. Lots of new interesting contacts, meeting colleagues, old and new. Good discussions, and who knows, perhaps we can even have a little bit of fun. That's certainly the idea. I'm now going to hand over to Rainer Schmidt of K&L Gates, who's going to open up the first session. Thank you all very much, and you're very welcome.